Remember when running errands used to be boring? Today, a simple trip to the grocery store feels like an exercise in survivability. As soon as we jump into the car, we throw our hats into a death lottery with about 120 Americans killed in car accidents every day. Once arriving at the grocery store, the next challenge is dodging free-range mental patients, career criminals, and wandering drug zombies. And mind the wet floor, too. After taking out a second mortgage to pay for groceries, we enter the obstacle course that is the American roadway once again. Finally, we return home and breathe a sigh of relief. We'll live to shop another day. Yet several killers were tagging along the whole time and we didn't even realize it. But no amount of defensive driving, the Second Amendment, or police escorts can do anything about it. Hop in the car and take a spin with me to the grocery store. It's a 2002 Saturn, so it's going to be a tight fit. Let's hit the road. First up, the drive. It's sunny and 75, so I roll down the windows and enjoy the breeze while watching out for the SUV full of 20-somethings that just pulled out of the bar and the 19-year-old watching Iron Man from his phone in the passing lane. But along with that fresh air comes something else. We're breathing in microscopic rubber particles shed by every tire spinning around us. Those particles react with ozone to form 6-ppd quinone, I think, a compound found in roadside dust, water, soil, and human biological samples. Here's a few 6-ppdq facts for you. 6-ppdq crosses the blood-brain barrier in animal studies, which damages brain neurons. A 2026 study by Zhang and Zhang found that 6-ppdq binds to several key Alzheimer's predictor genes, potentially triggering oxidative stress, neuroinflammation, and disrupted synaptic signaling. 6-ppdq is extremely toxic to certain aquatic species, causing acute mortality in coho salmon, leading to, quote, urban runoff mortality syndrome. So while I'm keeping an eye out for reckless drivers, my tires might be slowly plotting against us. Well, we made it to the store. Let's grab a cart and head to the produce aisle. Ever wonder how all those avocados and apples stay perfectly ripe after traveling hundreds of miles? Many of them are coated with Apeel, an edible plant-based film designed to slow spoilage, a product financially supported by Bill Gates. Here's a few Apeel facts for you. The manufacturing process for this stuff uses solvents like heptane and ethyl acetate, raising questions about potential residual traces. FDA documents indicate the potential for trace contaminants including lead, cadmium, mercury, and arsenic during production. The coating contains small amounts of trans fats, which some say pose long-term cardiovascular risks if consumed in large quantities. So while I'm side-eyeing the homeless guy yelling at the bananas, it's the mystery coating in our food that might be slowly making us sick. Well, congratulations, we made it to the self-checkout without incident, except that the store slowly collected another batch of personal data from us to sell, and the register spits out a receipt. But unbeknownst to us, that standard thermal paper is coated with BPA or BPS endocrine disruptors, according to the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency. Here's a few BPA facts. BPA and BPS are endocrine-disrupting chemicals that can mimic estrogen and interfere with thyroid hormone signaling, potentially affecting metabolic, reproductive, and developmental functions. Exposure has been linked to lower sperm quality, infertility, early puberty, and increased risk of preterm birth. Chronic exposure is associated with increased risks of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and cardiovascular disease, and children and pregnant women are at higher risk due to developmental sensitivity. Well, I was concerned about financially recovering from my $500 grocery haul, but now I might have to call Wilford Brimley over at Liberty Mutual for my diabetes medication.
Diabetes.
Well, let's get into the final patch, and do me a solid and hit that like button for me if you're still around. But what's to be done about all this? You can minimize 6-ppdq intake by keeping windows up on busier roads and maybe take up that Jiffy Lube tech's suggestion to replace that air filter. Of course, those living in New York City or the Apeel-coated Big Apple will have higher exposure rates than the single person living in Manawi, Nebraska. But most of us are likely breathing in more than is good for us. As for Bill Gates' chemical produce coating, some sources say it can be scrubbed off with baking soda, but Apeel is not designed to be removed easily. You're better off skinning fruits and veggies, or better yet, get as much from local farmers as possible. As for those receipts, you can go for an email option if possible, or skip them altogether if you can. Now you know why so many people seem to forget their receipts in the printers. Of course, if you're going to Costco, that receipt is your ticket out the door, but you could get really weird if you wanted to and start bringing gloves or tongs to the store with you. I'll probably just opt to hold the receipt by the corner and wash my hands as soon as possible. Try to be informed and take precautions, but obsessing over every possible threat out there might drive you crazy. Hell, none of us are getting out of here alive. Well, that's going to do it for this version of NPC Overrider. I'm your lead engineer, Greg. All references are available in the release notes. But what do you think? Have you heard of any of this stuff before? Are you concerned about microscopic rubber floating around in the air, Bill Gates' chemical coating, or BPA in your thermal paper receipts? Open up a ticket in the comments section and let's chat. But for now, we're going to log out and grab ourselves a beer. Thanks so much for stopping by. Have a good one.